So we're going to get started. My name's Chuck McKinnon. I'm going to be taking you through jazz listening this semester, and I want you to go ahead and start flipping around in your canvas, and you can start to see what's happening. Here's home. The home page is quite a lot like the modules page, and as well as the modules. Okay. You'll see these are the same as well. You're gonna see the concert reports come later in the class, but you'll see the weeks laid out very nicely in modules. Chapter 1, you do these assignments. Some of the assignments I haven't gotten flown over to the modules. There's some inquisitives and tutorials. And we'll wait for this to load here. Inquisitives and tutorials. Now, the elements tutorials, they're called. Okay, so you're going to be really looking at these due dates: September 4th, September 4th, September 4th, September 4th. Another. All these first 6 or so. So are due in 2 weeks. But anything with a due date and a point value are the things you want to complete in this course. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into the course itself. And where I'd like you to begin is doing the chapter reading and listening quizzes. And generally, you would read the book first. You'd read the chapter. I'll click on this ebook link. Let it load. You have to click this other link, load ebook. And in this case, we also have a little bit of an introduction to read. And you'll see something like this pop up. So here you go, the ebook reader introduction to how we set the stage to talk about jazz and listening, and just some basics, right? Some words: timbre, duration, melody. For example, timbre. That is a strange word, but it might be defined as the quality of character of a sound. What's the tone of the sound? A sax sounds a little different than a violin, right? So two different instruments playing the same pitch, say a flute and a saxophone playing a G, make very different sounds. So you're going to want to read this. It explains most of the course is actually self-directed through the book and completing tests. But I'm going to introduce these songs and listening for you. We're going to go back, and I'm going to also show you in the home or modules tabs. You can find these books, book links, and the link to the playlist. I like these playlist links. I'm going to be using these a lot in these videos, just so that we can talk about the recordings just a little bit more, and also so you can just have a nice introduction to the songs themselves. And in this book, they have a song in the introduction. And this is called The Pop Boiler, and it's just a good example of some general jazz. Let's open up the ILG, the Integrated Learning Guide, and this also has some annotations that you can read while you're listening, and it explains the music. So I would advocate listening to these ILGs. Okay, I'll push play, and let's give it a little listen. Quintet, trumpet, sax, piano, bass, drums. Now we get to the middle section of the song called the bridge, the beat part. Repeat of the opening melody. So the form is A-A-B-A. It opens with a sax solo. In this particular song, they trade new instrument, trumpet. So there you go. We're not going to listen to these whole songs in these videos. You get to do that on your own time. You can pause and play and get into it and listen repetitively to the things you need to hear again or want to hear again, and that sort of thing. And we're trying to differentiate the recordings. That's basically what this course is about, right? Hearing something, finding the different style, the different timbres, the different rhythms. Okay, so we're going to move on into the book itself. Let's go back to the book itself. Let's see, where am I here? Okay. Well, I am going to, I guess this could get us there. So in chapter 1, we're going to see, oh, that's the book itself. Pardon me. Let's go back to the playlist. Here we go. Chapter 1 playlist. So the first of the 3 examples, there's usually 3 per chapter that we listen to. So about 3 a week, right? Okay. The Georgia Sea Island Singers. Let's listen to this. Now this one, they really want you to get the concept of the call and response and the polyrhythms. Okay. So listen and see if you can hear the hand clapping versus the stomping of the feet, right? They're stomping with a certain rhythm and then they're clapping something like that, right? Okay, now you'll hear the polyrhythm. I'm going to push play. Listen to the call and response between the main singer and the rest of the singers, and a little bit of harmony. Okay, check it out.
Throw me anywhere, Lord, in that old field. Throw me anywhere, Lord, in that old field. Don't care where you throw me, in that old field. Bless my Jesus on me, in that old field. Throw me anywhere, Lord, in that old field. Throw me anywhere, Lord, in that old field. You may beat and bang me, in that old.
It's very syncopated too. And you're hearing this concept of syncopation. That's when you play on the upbeats. Up, down, up, down, up. Right? Okay, so let's try moving on to the next recording. You'll hear this. It's a fascinating story when you read it in the book. How these this group that was very influenced by their African ancestry to produce this music. So dig into that, and we will go back to this and listen to our second example for the week. This is famed blues singer Bessie Smith. Another fascinating story behind her. But let's listen to it, because this is the introduction of the blues, and this is a style of music that permeates the whole genre of jazz. Okay, let's hear it. And before I push play, notice that there's a first statement, a second statement, and then an answer statement to the blues, a 3-part construction to a 12-bar blues. Okay. Little introduction by Louis Armstrong, trumpeter. He has a mute with a his hand out there, wah wah, and when I wasn't nothing but a child is the first line. Repeat. And the third statement is something new. It's an incredibly deep style of music, and it would take a lifetime to learn all about it, but try to glean as much as you can, and we will move on. We're going to be moving at a quick pace in this class, and notice that that the blues emphasis of pitch bend, blues notes, flatting the notes, this intonation, the way they play in tune or out of tune in a creative way, okay, is part of the style. And this hadn't been done as much in European classical music. And what jazz really is a combination of African and European styles. So you're going to see it's a whole new thing, though. And we are going to move on, though. These videos are going to be quick. And Wilbur Sweatman, here, how he has learned, he's playing the ragtime style instead of dun 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 dun. That's John Philip Sousa type style. That's the march. Well, the ragtime came out of the march, and the old famous ragtime piece by Scott Joplin, Maple Leaf Rag. That kind of rhythm that happens in that. This is what influenced Wilbur Sweatman. And I think one of the key points they're trying to convey in the book is that there was variation going on. Unlike European classical music, where music tended to be written down, and while there were theme and variations since the beginning of time, here he's improvising these variations as he goes, and it adds great effect. Remember, the jazz style is we're always looking for the creativity that can happen in the moment, the spontaneous creativity. And I think there's some here for sure. Let's go ahead and take a peek at Down Home Rag by Wilbur Sweatman. There's a thing that was repeated, a phrase, then into this new part, and then he repeats this part with variation. Some blue notes, and then he goes back in a strain A, the first part. Strains are parts of a form for marches. New key, new music. Okay, the book explains it, and it's the beginning. Sorry, the recordings are kind of scratchy and sound old-fashioned, but the music is pretty exciting if you can get beyond the fidelity. And don't worry, the music begins to be very well recorded in years to come. So I hope that is a good little introduction to get you started in this course. Please don't hesitate to ask any questions about concepts that are foreign to you, or that you just want my take on those, and I'd be happy to explain those in future videos. In these weekly videos, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you think are general. All right. Thank you very much, and I look forward to working with you.